right, thank you so much if you're watching us here at Professor Herman Manyora's channel. Even before we start the show, I want to thank you for the continued support that you guys are showing us. It's amazing. And if you have friends, tell them that we are doing this for you. We are the #1 political channel here on YouTube, updating people on the activities that are happening every day on the political field. Okay, so today I want us to talk about, on the big question, we're going to be talking about Jimmy Wanjigi. Yes. Okay. Yesterday, the Safina party endorsed Jimmy Wanjigi, a businessman, as their party leader coming this upcoming election as the presidential candidate. Yes. Okay. So before we go to we talk about Jimmy Wanjigi, the question is, what led to the fallout of Jimmy Wanjigi and President Uhuru Kenyatta?
From what they have said, I've had the privilege of talking to him. Mm-hmm. According to him, he kind of fell out with Ruto and Uhuru for departing from the program they had, okay. Especially on SGR. Okay. And I hear one or two other things. But to me, I've heard him talk about SGR. Okay. There was the initial plan. Okay. The taxpayer was not going to spend money. He had gotten the people to do it. It was at a cost much less than what we have finally used. Mm-hmm. And I think he was trying to make it a private enterprise, PPE, whatever they call them. Okay. So that is it. He felt quite unhappy, okay. According to him. Wanjigi thinks that he was working in the interest of the country, okay. And he supported these people because they were young. He thought they too, because they have a future, more than people like Raila, having the future, future interest, because they were young people, they would want to safeguard that future by working for the public, but they went against it. That's what he says. Okay. I've not talked to Uhuru Kenyatta. I haven't talked to Ruto about it, so that is his story.
Since you've talked to Jimmy Wanjigi, who do you think is to blame for their fallout? Is it the president? Is it Jimmy Wanjigi?
But he's saying he stopped agreeing with him because they went against what they wanted to do for the country. Okay. And perhaps they invited him to be part of the eating, and he didn't want. That's what he says. Okay. But I'm saying I haven't talked to Uhuru. I haven't talked to Ruto, at least not on that. So I don't know their side of the story. That is his side of the story.
Okay. Yeah. 2017, we see Jimmy Wanjigi campaigning real hard for Baba. And today, we don't see them on the same platform they were in 2017. Then again, the question, what led to the fallout of Jimmy Wanjigi and Baba?
Jimmy Wanjigi says Raila betrayed the revolution. Okay. He betrayed the cause. Okay. He doesn't explain more than that. He says this is self-evident. The Raila of the handshake is not the Raila they were working with. That's Jimmy Wanjigi saying. Okay. But again, I haven't talked to Raila about it. But one could easily argue two things. Number one, Jimmy Wanjigi and the rest are seeing the small picture. Raila is looking at the bigger picture. Okay. Somebody else could say it is politics. Because if Raila continues running for the president, where does that leave Jimmy? If Jimmy had his political ambitions, then he must say bad things about Raila so that he can get the chance to become president also. Okay. Yeah, so.
Okay, the upcoming election, people are arguing that it's more likely for Baba to win the upcoming election. Okay, for Jimmy Wanjigi's move to stand with Safina party, to being endorsed to challenge Baba, what do you make of this move by him?
Those are desperate moves. Okay. That's desperation. And I've said before in one of these shows, Jimmy Wanjigi is coming out badly. Okay. This is Jimmy Wanjigi is just becoming like any other politician in this country. They don't look for good advice. The moment you give an indication you are about to run for office, whether MCA, MP, anything, and it's so bad that it even applies to those who want to be president, you listen to sycophants around you, busybodies who age out people who can give you ideas. Good luck, Jonathan. Okay. President Goodluck Jonathan talked about it. After losing the election, no, it was Muhammad of Ghana, I think. Okay. He said after losing in his re-election bid, he regretted ignoring people who would have helped him. Instead, listen to the idiots that were around him. Okay. So when you want to run for office, including of the president, there will be busybodies, conmen and brokers around you. I am sure Jimmy Wanjigi has some kind of potential. If he had approached this thing with good advisors, he would not be making the blunders he's making. What he's doing is blunders, because you are then going to support William Ruto at the end of the day. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Ruto, but you'll be seen for what you are.
Okay.
You're just hitting at Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga.
Okay.
And coming out looking bad. Or worse still, you can stand and get 2,000 votes. Now you can imagine somebody like Jimmy Wanjigi with his name standing to get 5,000 votes. Imagine. And that's what he would do. He would not get more than 5,000 votes.
Okay.
He's not better than Paul Muite, who got 6 or 7 or 5,000. He's not better than Mada Karua. He's not better than Peter Kenneth. Because it's not because Peter Kenneth was not good, not because Paul Muite and Mada Karua are not good. It's because the contest was between two people, Raila and
Uhuru.
And these others were just busybodies. So if he runs, it will just be another run. They call them other runs.
Okay.
You're also. The alsos. And then get 6,000 votes, 10,000. You spoil your name forever. You get it? If you support William Ruto, which is what he's likely to do, Ruto will lose. You'll come out looking bad.
Okay.
The people you are trying to fight will be there looking at you in the eye.
Okay.
And they could crush you politically. You will not make a comeback.
Okay.
I've said before, allow me to repeat, those who lose with Ruto will face the music.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm reading from what you're saying currently is that in time we are going to see Jimmy Wanjigi with the Safina party joining Uhuru, William Ruto.
Yeah.
Is this going to bring damage, as you have said?
He's already damaged. You can't damage Jimmy Wanjigi beyond what he has damaged himself. I have said repeatedly here, what Jimmy Wanjigi needed, having made the point he was trying to make, and announcing his entry in Kenyan politics, was to retreat back to the Jimmy people know. The mysterious Jimmy Wanjigi.
Okay.
The Roger kind of man. The Mr. Fix-It. The Kingmaker. The Mr. Billionaire. International businessman. You will retreat back to that. But you have made your presence, appearance on the scene, then you go back. Because you've seen the situation. You couldn't wrestle ODM from Raila. Okay. And Raila is an old fox.
Yeah.
He has outfoxed you. What he did is to remove the war from ODM and take it to Azimio, so that ODM was nothing. Okay. And Jimmy was fighting for ODM. Okay. And Raila, with the one stroke, made ODM a sideshow. Yeah. And the being was Azimio. So Jimmy could not follow Raila in
Azimio. So
Raila, the old fox, outsmarted him. So now what you do, having seen that, you retreat. And watch from far.
Okay.
Let Azimio win the election. Let them go into the mess they are going to go. There will be mess. There will be quarrels. There will be fallouts. There will be grumbling. There will be disillusionment. Then begin to build pieces from those.
Okay.
As you move towards 2027 or 2032. Secondly, it is likely that Ruto will be damaged goods after next election. Okay. And therefore, Ruto may not feature prominently in Kenyan politics post-2022. And there will be a gap for another leader to face the Raila-Ruto formation. In the absence of Ruto, and there being no Kikuyu visible in that game, okay, at least by 2027, it is possible Jimmy Wanjigi could emerge.
Okay.
Because the Kikuyus who supported Ruto will be looking for somebody to support. And the Ruto will have gone completely out of the scene. Okay. Jimmy would then say, gee. But I think like any other politician, they don't listen to people with ideas. Okay,
so you're saying Jimmy Wanjigi, it was just a matter of time. He would have come out more relevant than he is coming out right now.
Yeah, now he's looking desperate.
Okay.
He's looking like just angry like Mudavadi. Bitter with Raila, and it won't take him anywhere.
Okay. He dubbed the upcoming election as an Itweka moment, meaning generational change. We've talked about generational changes before. And do you think it's too early to be talking about generational change in this upcoming election?
This election offers a generation change moment.
Okay.
But they should not look at generation change to mean young people are taking over in the Itweka style.
Okay.
No, it is, we are moving into a next order. A different way of doing things with different players, most of who will be young. But this young generation must stand on the shoulders of people like Raila as they go into the future. Okay. So there's going to be the old people like Raila Odinga moving into the future with a sizable number of young people and preparing them to take over. Yeah. But they will be such an integral part of the next government. You cannot wish them away. For example, you'll see Raila's cabinet will have a sizable number of young people. You will see many young people given high-profile jobs. This is an indication of that generational change. But we are not saying as Simon of 24 years will become the president. Yeah, no. If you look at this that way, you have lost the point.
We are talking about generational change. We are talking about new faces into politics.
New ways of doing things. Many new players, most of them young.
Now, the DP was the chief guest of that event, and he said it's time for economic revolution. This upcoming election, it's time for economic revolution. Do you agree with what the DP said?
It's time for us to take off, we need an economic revolution. But none of the candidates is, either they don't know English, or they don't know what they are talking about, or they are con men, or they are playing around with this. A revolution is not something you just talk about. There must be major, huge paradigm shifts, huge departures. You plug one thing and say, this thing works like this, but from next time when I become president, it will now work this way. I have seen nothing. If you say food security, you must come up with an earth-shaking move on land ownership in this country. You cannot talk about a revolution in agriculture without talking about land ownership in this country. You cannot talk about food security without talking about simple things like, should a poor country like Kenya with little acreage under cultivation, should people be buying maize seed? The answer is no. And then you are stepping on sensitive people, sensitive toes. There should be free seed to ensure there's proper variety, the right variety. Nobody selling maize seed is free. The country can afford it. Free fertilizers. So that revolution in agriculture, in health, because even if you want to have an economic revolution, you need a health nation. Where is the revolution in health? They are all talking about NHIF. You cannot reform NHIF because it's a fraud. You must come up with something revolutionary. Say we are going back to the 1960s. You work in any government hospital and come out treated well. It has medicine. It has well-motivated, well-paid staff, well-trained, well-equipped hospitals. None of them they are talking about NHIF. Talk about anything. None of them can bring about a revolution or an economic revolution. And an economic revolution means big things. Like saying, we have killed our industries in this country. Why? Because we have allowed all these stupid imports from all over the world. So we are not going to have Mutumba in this country. We are not going to have these plastic things, shoes and cheap electronics you can't sell anywhere else in the world. None of them is pronouncing themselves on the big things. And therefore, either they don't know English or they are trying to be just cheeky.
Okay, now as we come to the end of the conversation, we also have other presidential aspirants. We have someone like David Mware Waihige. I don't know how well you know him. We also have Grita Muthoni. Actually, she's the first female presidential aspirant. And Ruben,
not first.
Yeah, she's
for now.
For now.
Yes.
Yeah. And Ruben Kigame.
Yes, these are good people.
What do you think about it?
These are good people. They are Kenyans. For them to want to stand, they are Kenyans. Number one. Fellow Kenyans. And they are good people. Like Kigame is a good person. I know him. Very good person. But we cannot talk about them when we are talking about presidency. Presidency is a different ball game altogether. But they are good people.
You know, them trying their best to
become
be
trying your best. No,
in a two-horse race.
What do you think? We must just stop there. They are good people. Yeah, but let's not go beyond that.
Okay, so what I'm asking is, what do they want to achieve?
Nothing.
You're just saying it's a waste of time for them.
Sometimes, like if you look at someone like Paul Kigame, he can want to make a statement. Because if you listen to the issues he's raising, they're very serious and fundamental. So someone like Paul Kigame can make a statement. Some people stand not to win, but to make a statement. I'm not naive. I know that.
Yeah.
Even in Europe, there are parties that have never dreamed they could win power. The Green Party, the Greens, and so on and forth. The Liberal parties. But they make such a big statement. You can ignore them because they don't get seats. But they make a big statement. Some of them are people or parties who are beginning somewhere, so that they can grow in the future.
Okay.
Look at Malema in South Africa.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's growing, quantitatively now growing. So I know, but generally speaking, Kenyan politics is centered around big names. That is the tragedy of this country.
Okay.
We play the politics of big names. And it's not easy even at constituency level for you just to happen and become an MP. We play the politics of ni mtoto wa nani, kwao ni wapi. No, that's the politics we play in this country. It therefore disadvantages the people you have mentioned. Because if you listen to Paul Kagame,
I've actually listened to
the
him.
kind of issues he's raising,
Yeah.
they're very fundamental, serious issues. But the politics of this country is such that a person like that, we just say he's a good man and leave it like that.
Okay. Yeah. So with time, I think you're saying they should shelter themselves under these big names so that maybe in the future they become relevant.
And you don't just become a big name.
Okay, now let's end the conversation with that. Well, that has been the conversation here at Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Simon Irungu. Until we do have this conversation again, enjoy the rest of your day.